Images that have gone viral with millions of views across different platforms in every country of the world today, because there is a sense of disbelief. Here in India, we've come to be perhaps desensitized to how people are treated in various circumstances. But this video has touched a raw nerve. It is from Saharanpur in Uttar Pradesh, where a state-level Kabaddi team comprised of young women and young men were made to eat food after it was served inside a toilet just a few feet away from a urinal, a row of urinals, a row of lavatories. This is where they were served their food. They are still in their Kabaddi uniforms. They were there as part of a state-level tournament, and this is how they were treated. People have been expressing their disgust, but also wondering what sort of perverse circumstances could force the organizers of this tournament to serve these young Indians their food inside a toilet. Couldn't it have been done outside? What were the pressing circumstances, or indifference, or negligence, or apathy, or criminality, or lack of shame, or all of the above to make them treat Indian future sports stars in this absolutely disgusting manner? No amount of condemnation is enough. And I wish it was only a one-off thing. But sadly, as you and I both know, viewer, this is hardly a unique event. Non-cricketing sports persons in this country have been treated like filth, like second-class citizens, like non-priorities over and over again over the years. Just look at what happened a few days ago. This is Sunil Chhetri. Watch how, as he was accepting a trophy after a tournament, watch how the Bengal governor, La Ganesan, pushes him aside. I hope you saw this video as well, viewer, because that's another video. A football star of India accepting a trophy after his amazing work on the field, pushed aside by the Bengal governor because he wanted to be in the photograph. That man, that shameless man there, is the governor, acting governor of West Bengal, the Honorable La Ganesan, who found it fit to use his hands to push aside young Sunil Chhetri so he could be in the frame. You can explain it in whatever way you want, but is this the way to behave with India's sport persons? Pushed aside for a photograph, served food from a toilet. Is this what it has really come down to? I think most people have made peace with the fact that cricket is lucky, cricketers are lucky, they've got a body looking after their interests, and nobody should find fault with cricketers because they've earned it. They are stars in their own right. So this is not about denigrating cricket or cricketers. But why are those who are not cricketers in this country treated in this shabby manner? Watch this report.
They are India's budding Kabaddi talent, toiling to make it big at national level. But in return, what they got was shame, apathy and betrayal. India was horrified when young women national level Kabaddi players were served food cooked and piled up inside toilet. You heard that right. Puris fried near urinals. Rice cooked inside washroom. A deeply embarrassed UP government sacked top sports officials and ordered a probe.
लोगों ने जो शिकायत आई थी, खेल अधिकारी को निलंबित कर दिया है और जांच के लिए आदेश दिया है।
Sports Minister Anurag Thakur directed state government to take strict action against the accused contractor and officers.
जो भी कॉन्ट्रैक्टर आरोपी होगा और जो भी अधिकारी इस पर है, मैंने पिछले कल ही उसके ऊपर कड़ी से कड़ी कार्रवाई करने के लिए कहा है और उस कॉन्ट्रैक्टर को भी भविष्य के लिए ब्लैकलिस्ट करने के लिए निर्देश दे दिए।
The opposition was quick to hit out at the Yogi government and called it incompetent.
बच्चों के लिए कोई इंतजाम नहीं है, इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर नहीं है, रुकने रुकाने का, ठहरने का, खाना दिलाने का। बताओ आज के समय पर कौन टॉयलेट में खाना खाएगा? ये सरकार की इनकॉम्पिटेंट सरकार है।
अतिथि देवो भवो की परंपरा वाले उत्तर प्रदेश में खिलाड़ियों को टॉयलेट में खाना देना, ये योगी सरकार का कौन सा कुकृत्य है?
Sports administration in India is notorious for unequal treatment, bordering on harassment when it comes to non-cricketing sports persons. Recently, India saw national football captain Sunil Chhetri getting insulted during the presentation of the Durand Cup. He was shoved aside by the Bengal governor La Ganeshan, who was more interested in a better photo op. It was in 2017 when medal-winning para-athlete Suvarna Raj was forced to sleep on the floor of a train. Raj was allotted an upper berth despite being wheelchair-bound. In 2016, star para-athlete Aditya Mehta was forced to take off prosthesis at Bengaluru airport during a security check, which left him bleeding. While cricket is a religion in our country and cricketers are treated like God, it is unfortunate that other sports and their stars do not get the recognition they deserve. Bureau Report, India Today.
Joining me live now, Nikhil Naz is with us from the newsroom, who's been tracking the fallout of this story. We also have Rahul Gautam, who's live with us from Saharanpur. He's our man on the ground there. He's arrived there to piece together this absolutely shocking story. Rahul, you know, some officials over there have been suspended, but I think the story that India wants answered right now is, what were the circumstances? What were the pressing circumstances that justify such a horrible decision for the food to be served to these athletes inside a toilet a few feet away from a urinal?
Well, Shiv, this shameful incident happened in Saharanpur at B.R. Ambedkar Stadium. And I'm coming live from that particular stadium. I'll ask my camera person, Mr. Mohan, to just show you around that this is the place where you can see this is an open kitchen where food was being prepared. Food was prepared for these female Kabaddi players, and this is the same toilet. And you can imagine this is a men's toilet. 300 female Kabaddi players were served food inside a men's toilet. You can see this is the same floor where puris were kept, and this is the place where you can see this is the floor. These are the urinals. Absolutely traumatizing for any women Kabaddi player or for any women to be inside a men's toilet and to have food. This is the place, this is the changing room now. This is the second part of the same structure, and here rice were kept, and in that particular video, you can see some of the female students, female players were actually complaining about these circumstances, because it was absolutely shocking for them also, because not just this compromises food hygiene, but also compromises the very dignity of any woman. I have with me some of the officials here, some of the coaches here who actually train these athletes and these players here. Ma'am, आप बताइए उस दिन हुआ क्या था? आप बताइए थोड़ा सा, अपना नाम बताइए और आप क्या सिखाती हैं बताइए।
मेरा नाम जूली पुंडीर है, मैं एथलेटिक्स कोच हूँ सहारनपुर में, मैं यहीं पे सिखाती भी हूँ और मैं पिछले 16 साल से यहीं पर रहती आई हूँ, यहीं से मैं रहने वाली, यहीं से बिलोंग करती हूँ मैं। एक्चुअली ऐसा कुछ नहीं है जो यहाँ पर बताया जा रहा है ये कि यहाँ पे बना खाना ये टॉयलेट में बताया गया, सर ऐसा कुछ नहीं है।
तो ये टॉयलेट ही है मैम, मेंस टॉयलेट है।
टॉयलेट तो है ये बात आपकी सही है।
खाना यहीं बना है, मैं चाहूंगा आप दिखाएं।
लेकिन पता क्या इसमें प्रॉब्लम ये थी कि जब यहाँ पे दिखाया गया है कि वहाँ पे खाना, सर वो वेस्टेज खाना था और ये यहाँ पर एक मनगढ़ंत कहानियां या
तो वीडियो में तो बच्चे ले रहे हैं वहाँ से।
हाँ दे रहे हैं, लेकिन अब एक बार बताइए, मैं आपके पास कोई जिम्मेदारी है? हमारे सर उस टाइम पे यहाँ पे पूरे स्टेडियम की जिम्मेदारी उनके ऊपर है, पूरे सहारनपुर की उनके ऊपर है। बाहर से कोई वो अपनी गाड़ी से लेके आए हैं, अपनी गाड़ी से बच्चों को छोड़ के आए हैं, बच्चों को उन्होंने खुद से देखा है। जितने भी यहाँ पे चाहे वो कोच आए हैं, चाहे खिलाड़ी आए हैं या मैनेजमेंट का कोई भी बंदा आया है, सर ने अपने आप से हैंडल किया है। क्या सर ऐसा नहीं हो सकता? क्योंकि पिछले हम भी देख रहे हैं 20 साल से यहाँ पे इतनी प्रॉब्लम चल रही है, इतना सब कुछ प्रॉब्लम हो रही है। जब से ये वाले सर आए इन्होंने बहुत कुछ सुधारने की कोशिश की है। अब ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि क्या उनकी बनगढ़ंत पीछे जो चली गई है चाले कि सर वहाँ पे गए हैं, यहाँ से उठा के बच्चों खड़ा कर दिया गया।
लेकिन खाने को Julie Pundir, she is the athletics coach here, and she's saying that there's a conspiracy behind this entire incident, and that's why Mr. Animesh Saxena has now been attached to Lucknow. Ma'am, लेकिन आप एक महिला हैं, ये मेंस टॉयलेट है. जी बिल्कुल. जब यहाँ पर खाना बन भी रहा था, चलिए मैं आप इतनी बात मान लेता हूँ, उसके बाद ये खाना अंदर जाने के बाद बच्चों को दिया किस तरीके से गया?
सर आज तक हमारे सामने तो कभी नहीं हुआ ऐसा.
अभी हुआ ना, लेकिन
नहीं हमारे सामने नहीं हुआ, क्योंकि अब आप ये मैं वही तो चीज़ कह रही हूँ, जब से ये सर यहाँ पर आए इन्होंने बहुत गलत चीज़ों के ऊपर ध्यान दिया है, बहुत सी गलत चीज़ों में सुधार लाया गया है, और जो गलत बंदा गलत चीज़ों के लिए खिलाफ खड़ा है उसके ऐसे हो रही है. तो सर मेरी समझ से बिल्कुल बाहर है कि सर के देख रेख में ऐसा हुआ होगा. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, ये उनके खिलाफ मन गढ़ंत कहानियाँ हैं या चाल चली गई है, राजनीति जो भी कह लीजिए.
I'll show you some more visuals of this stadium. You can see these are the two pools of this stadium, BR Ambedkar Stadium. You can see they are also not in very good shape, and this only shows that how crores of rupees are being spent in name of sports infrastructure. And this is what we are actually giving to our upcoming athletes, to our budding players. And as a nation, as a country, we always expect that our athletes, our players are going to bring laurels, going to bring medals. But at the same time, why we always falter in giving basic facilities to our sportsmen? This
and I just wanted to I want to take this also to Nikhil, who's with us, because what Julie Pundir says, we accept that. The people who are working with these young stars are also, doing their job. They're doing their hard work. I'm sure the people involved have, sorted out many other problems. There may have been some situation as a result of which such a thing happened. But the very fact that it crossed someone's mind to be to be able to do something like this is what is really shocking. And like I said, this isn't the only story. Nikhil, there are so many examples. And I want to make it clear here on India Today, nobody is denigrating cricketers and the amazing way in which cricket is administered and how cricketers are treated in this country. That should be a template for all sports, hopefully, at some point of time. But with Sunil Chhetri a few days ago, Nikhil, with this young Kabaddi team in Saharanpur, scores of other examples of para-athletes and others in just the recent past, there is a problem, Nikhil.
Well, Shiv, there is a problem. Actually, the visuals that you're showing right now, they do highlight the problem. But I think the bigger thing that really highlights the problem, and you've shown that example on air, is you hear a woman coach who's there at the venue, and what does she do? She comes out and defends the officer by saying that, this was the food that was left over, this was the additional food. The visuals are there for everyone to see. If that was leftover food, as is being said from the other side, that this was that leftover food and wasn't meant for the athletes. The visuals are clear. You could see the athletes there, the young Kabaddi players being served that food. But what does the coach do? She's a woman. She is a coach. She comes out and defends the officer. And I think that actually highlights what the problem is with the Indian sporting system, Shiv. Because at the end of the day, you're at the mercy of administrators. You cannot move ahead in sport. And that's not just at this junior level. Even if you were to look at the national level, that's the problem that exists. Because there is a hierarchy that we've said, that is why you have the governor of Bengal pushing aside the captain of the Indian team. Because there's a hierarchy that we've said, whether it's at the junior level, at the senior level, where the sports person is the lowest common denominator. That's the problem with Indian sport. I often hear this argument that, we're a country of 1.3 crore people. Why can't we be the best team at the Olympic Games? We can't be, because we do not have a sporting culture. How many parents that would have seen these visuals of these young girls being serve food in a male toilet would want their kids to become sports people? That is exactly the scenario in India, where you do not have parents wanting their kids to play sport. I'll tell you, Shiv, anyone who's played sport in this country at a district level, at a junior level, whatever sport that might be, I'd include even cricket at that, they've had to go through this, because they go in train compartments without reserved seats. They have to sleep next to the toilet. They go to hostels. We have about 20 people have to share one toilet. These are common stories of Indian sport at the grassroots level. Yes, we've got the Khelo India. I know that there are new centers being set up for better infrastructure. All these things are happening, but the root cause still remains. And that's why we'll never be a sporting nation.
It's incredible and such a sad commentary on how we treat our sports persons that this kind of thing happens. Nikhil, stay with me. Rahul, stay with me. Payal Chaudhary, very honored to have Payal Chaudhary, former captain of the Indian national Kabaddi team, with us, who I'm going to go to in just a moment. But before that, just to remind all of our viewers once again that what has happened in Saharanpur is not a one-off. It's not a one-off. Sunil Chhetri is not a one-off. Athletes who are not cricketers have been treated like second-class citizens repeatedly. You're seeing the the Kabaddi story now. You've seen the Sunil Chhetri story pushed aside by the Bengal governor. In 2022, Sivasakti Narayanan, footballer, pushed aside also by the West Bengal sports minister. Same in that same event. 2021, last year, Vandana, hockey player, family was abused. 2017, Suvarna Raj, para-athlete, forced to sleep on the train floor. 2016, Aditya Mehra, para-athlete, made to remove his prosthetic leg. There is no priority, there is no sense of decency in which some of these people are actually treated. And that has made people very angry. And that's the reason why, as Nikhil said, this particular video of these young Kabaddi stars being made to eat food inside a toilet just a few feet away from a row of urinals in Saharanpur has shocked people. And I hope the Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath will take strict action, not just against one or two people, but against any system that makes such a thing actually possible. Nikhil, very quickly, Anurag Thakur, the sports minister, has said action will be taken. Will something like this be followed up? Because it's a video that's viral today, will be forgotten tomorrow. Do you think something like this will actually trigger some deeper action?
Action would be taken, Shiv. I'm certain of that. Anurag Thakur being a sports person himself, I know that immediate action would be taken. But will it bring about a cultural change? I'm not too sure. Because as you mentioned, there have been previous cases, and then, a lot of those cases, yet you keep having these incidents come in again and again. And that's why I go to the core point that you need to have a cultural change, a change in the mindset of everyone, because it may not be possible for the higher ups. I'm saying, let's say at the central government level, to look at every little tournament that happens. That's why attitudes need to change. I'll give you a quick example. We keep talking about state funding. USA, one of the most successful countries in the world, the maximum funding that they get for their athletes comes from the general public. How many of us participate in organizing sporting events or contribute when it comes to monetary contribution or even voluntary contribution? It's when the general citizenship of the entire country comes together, participates in sporting activities, bring about that culture, only then will you see certain things improve. One-off action being taken against one-off officer will not bring about a big change.
I think that's a really important point that you make. A part of that change lies in all of us as well. Small, short-term punitive measures will, have their place. But if there's going to be a systemic change, it is something that involves us all. Nikhil, continue to stay with me because Payal Chaudhary, former Kabaddi captain of India, is also with us. Payal ji, आपने ये वायरल वीडियो जरूर देखा होगा अभी तक. ये जो पूरा इंटरनेट पे वायरल हो चुका है, जिसमें जो अंडर 17 के कबड्डी टीम, स्टेट लेवल कबड्डी टीम एक टॉयलेट में खा रहे हैं. जो खाना उनको खिलाया जा रहा है वो एक मेंस टॉयलेट में सर्व हो रहा है. आपको क्या लगा पायल?
मैं पायल चौधरी, इंटरनेशनल कबड्डी प्लेयर। जब मुझे वीडियो मिला और जब मैंने देखा, मुझे बहुत ही गंदा महसूस हुआ। इतने साल से मैं कबड्डी खेल रही हूँ, काफ़ी 15 साल से, और 7-8 मैं इंटरनेशनल कर चुकी हूँ अभी तक। तो मैंने कभी ऐसे कुछ देखा नहीं, पहली बार मैंने देखा। तो मेरे हिसाब से अभी पीएम मोदी जी सर ने इतना मोटिवेट करते हुए, मतलब कोई भी इवेंट हो, कोई भी खिलाड़ी हो, उनको इंटरनेशनल पे वापस आने के बाद उनको इतना मतलब मोटिवेशन करना, उनको मिलना, या वहाँ पे जब कोई जाते हैं इंटरनेशनल इवेंट पे उनको फ़ोन में बात करना, तो इतना कुछ होने के बाद भी ऐसे तो होना नहीं चाहिए हमारे देश में। ऊपर से मैं ये बोलना चाहूँगी कि कोई भी इवेंट हो या कोई भी टूर्नामेंट हो, छोटा मोटा, खिलाड़ी होता है, हर खिलाड़ी का एक रिस्पेक्ट होता है। तो छोटे-छोटे लड़कियाँ, अभी ये लड़कियाँ आगे जाके अपना देश का, अपना स्टेट का नाम रोशन करेगी। अगर इनके साथ ही अगर ऐसे होगा तो आगे ये लोग कैसे बढ़ पाएंगे। और जहाँ पे मैंने देखा वहाँ पे बाथरूम के अंदर खाना बनाया जा रहा था, उनको खाना प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा था। तो मुझे लगता है ये बहुत ही गलत है, और वहाँ पे फूड पॉइजन भी हो सकता था बच्चियों को अंदर भी। तो अगर वो कुछ हो जाता तो कौन जिम्मेदारी लेता है ये चीज़ का। तो जो ऑर्गेनाइजर थे वहाँ पे उनको आके विजिट करना चाहिए था, कि कैसे टूर्नामेंट चल रहा है, क्या कैसे नहीं चल रहा है, उनको ध्यान देना चाहिए था। इस हिसाब से तो मैं बोलती हूँ ये गलत
जी।
चीज़ है एकदम भी।
पायल जी, आप भी
हाँ जी।
आप भी एक कबड्डी स्टार हैं, आप कैप्टन भी रहे हैं, आप इंटरनेशनल कबड्डी प्लेयर हैं। आपके हिसाब में ऐसे जो 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 यंग एथलीट्स जो हैं, जो इस वीडियो में शामिल हैं, उनके मन में क्या गुजर रहा होगा जब जब ऐसे ट्रीटमेंट मिलता है उनको, तो क्या इफेक्ट, क्या इम्पैक्ट हो सकता है उन पर?
उनको ऐसे लगता होगा कि मतलब हमारे साथ ऐसे किया जा रहा है, या उनको मतलब पहली बार मैंने ये चीज़ देखा है, तो उनको मतलब अंदर से अजीब-सा महसूस हो रहा होगा कि ये चीज़ जैसे हम लोग खा रहे हैं कि कहाँ से मतलब प्रोवाइड किया जा रहा है उनको। जैसे मान लीजिए उनको मैसेज होने के बाद भी वो बच्चे हैं, कुछ बोल नहीं सकते, तो ये चीज़ मैं मानती हूँ कि जो ऑर्गेनाइज़र है उनको ख़ास करके ध्यान देना चाहिए था इसके ऊपर। जो छोटे-छोटे लड़कियाँ हैं उनको इतना नॉलेज नहीं है, और इसके बाद फूड पॉइज़न भी हो सकता है,
जी,
कुछ भी हो
एग्जैक्टली।
सकता है इनके अंदर।
और जो स्पोर्ट्स के स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन्स हैं, एथलीट्स हैं, पायल, उनका डाइट जो खाना होता है उनको काफ़ी रिस्ट्रिक्टेड होता है। तो ये देख के ऐसे लगता है कि कोई भी रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है, कुछ भी खिला रहे हैं, कहीं भी खिला रहे हैं, कोई क्वालिटी चेक नहीं है।
सर मैं यही बोलना चाहती हूँ कि अभी जितना सारा मतलब गवर्नमेंट का जो भी रूल वगैरह रेगुलेशन जो भी है, गवर्नमेंट की तरफ से सारे खिलाड़ियों को इतना अच्छा मोटिवेशन मिल रहा है, इतना अच्छा इनकरेज मिल रहा है, होने के बाद ऐसे चीज़ होना नहीं चाहिए जहाँ पे हम लोग का सर अनुराग ठाकुर मौजूद है खुद। तो इतने
जी
अच्छा
जी।
सर होने के बाद यहाँ पे होना नहीं चाहिए ये चीज़। तो मैं चाहती हूँ जो ऑर्गेनाइज़ किया गया है उनके ऊपर थोड़ा जाँच किया जाए कि ऐसी चीज़ दोबारा ना दोहरा जाए कहीं और, कि खिलाड़ियों के ऊपर बहुत कुछ बीतती होगी इस चीज़ देखने के बाद।
पायल पायल, दो आखिरी सवाल। एक परसेप्शन बन गया है इंडिया में ज़्यादातर ऐसे वीडियो देखने के बाद कि अगर आप एक एथलीट या स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन हो और अगर आप क्रिकेट नहीं खेलते हो तो आपको तैयार रहना पड़ेगा ऐसे ट्रीटमेंट के लिए। क्या ये एक्चुअली एक सच है?
सर क्रिकेट तो पहले से ही पॉपुलर रह चुके
जी
इंडिया में, इंडिया के बाहर भी। तो सारे इवेंट के अंदर ही मतलब जो इवेंट जो खेलते हैं तो सब में कंपटीशन होता है और सब में मेहनत लगता है। जैसे कबड्डी में बोलिए, बॉडी फिटनेस जितना बॉडी कॉन्टैक्ट गेम कबड्डी है, चोट लगने का ज़्यादा चांसेस है। वैसे रेसलर भी है, वैसे हॉकी भी है। हर इवेंट अब बोला जाए तो बहुत ही टफ है। तो मैं मानती हूँ कि हर इवेंट को क्रिकेट जैसा ही दर्ज दिया जाए इंडिया में, और भी पॉपुलर हो जाएंगे क्रिकेट के साथ साथ,
जी
और भी
जी।
आगे हम लोग देखें तो और सारे इवेंट को।
आखिरी सवाल पायल जी ये है कि
हाँ जी।
एक जो कोच हैं जमीन पर इस सहारनपुर में, उनको पनिशमेंट देना वो बहुत आसान चीज़ है। उनको सस्पेंड करना या उनके खिलाफ कुछ एक्शन लेना वो तो बहुत आसान है और वो होगा भी। लेकिन जो बिगर पिक्चर है, क्योंकि हमको मानना पड़ेगा कि जो युद्ध है ये अगेंस्ट फॉर आवर स्पोर्ट्स पर्सन्स, ये एक बहुत बड़ा एक्शन प्लान बनना पड़ेगा। एक कल्चरल माइंडसेट भी है जब हम नॉन क्रिकेट प्लेयर्स के बारे में बात करते हैं। तो अगर आप कंट्री के लीडरशिप, अनुराग ठाकुर जी, प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी से बात कर सकते हैं डायरेक्टली, तो इस वीडियो के संदर्भ में आप क्या बोलना चाहेंगे?
मैं यही बोलना चाहूंगी कि सर इंडिया में हर जगह में छोटे छोटे कुछ चीज़ खिलाड़ियों के साथ होते रहता है। तो जो भी बीच में मीडिएटर है वहाँ पे जाके एक बार छान करना, या कुछ भी दिक्कत हो उनको तुरंत सॉल्व करना, जो भी बीच में ऑर्गेनाइजर है। तो ऐसे अगर ऑर्गेनाइजर हो तो उनको दिया मत जाए कोई भी चीज़ जिम्मेदारी के लिए। तो हर स्टेट में मैं चाहती हूँ कि हर स्टेट में खिलाड़ियों को इज्जत मिले, हर स्टेट में खिलाड़ियों को एक ऊंचे दर्ज में रखा जाए, जैसे हमारा पीएम मोदी जी कर रहे हैं, अनुराग ठाकुर सर कर रहे हैं, ऐसे सबको देखा जाए।
चौधरी, हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए बहुत धन्यवाद। योर वर्ड्स विल एको, क्योंकि बिकॉज योर वर्ड इज नॉट जस्ट ऑफ अ बाईस्टैंडर, your words are as someone who has been a kabaddi champion and a captain of the national team. I'd like to give the final word to Rahul Gautam, who is in Saharanpur and actually tracking the fallout of a story that India Today picked up first. Rahul, given the huge viral nature of this story, do you see more action being taken, some corrective measures being taken. Like I always say, it's very easy to punish one or two people. It's more difficult to change the system so something like this is never deemed necessary in the future.
So far, only one, person has been attached. In fact, a high-level probe has already been ordered by the district administration, and we've been informed that Chief Minister Mr. Yogi Adityanath has actually, taken a very strong note of this incident, given the fact that this has brought bad repute, and a great shame to Uttar Pradesh, given the fact that, female athletes, female Kabaddi players, being served lunch inside a men's toilet. Obviously, this is not how we should be treating our upcoming players. I'll just show you some very unfortunate visuals here. You can see this was the open pit where food was, prepared. And when I spoke with the officials here, they said that they've been cooking here for past 20 years. So you can imagine, how we've been treating our players. And this is the same men's toilet. You can imagine what trauma it has been for those female upcoming players to, have lunch here. And obviously, this has been a great harrowing experience for those female players. And that's why I'm sure, given the fact that we've been reporting extensively on this issue, you can expect that heads are certainly going to roll and things are certainly going to improve on ground zero.
Rahul, thank you very much for getting us that ground report. The only reporter who's in that place where that food was served in that manner. Remember, here on India Today, I want to make it very, very clear here. This is not a witch hunt. We're not after one person or an individual or a coach. This is, as Nikhil said, about changing the system and a mindset. And if that doesn't happen, then viral videos of this kind that represent the rot in the system are going to be absolutely useless. They will come. We will obsess about them for a day. I will lead my show about it, and then everyone's going to forget about it tomorrow. I am not sitting here, remember, and saying things like, how dare they? I am saying we should really, really introspect about why a situation has ever been necessary where a video like this was ever possible. Why is it that that person, whoever took that decision, needed to do this? A lack of resources, a lack of facilities, a lack of place, for God's sake, to serve athletes some food, as a result of which it had to be inside a toilet. Let's think about it. It's not a black and white story. There are shades of grey and things need to be changed. We will try and affect that change and keep track of how this story unfolds. Nikhil Naz, Rahul Gautam, Payal Chaudhary, thank you very much for being with me on this very important story